All right, so here we go. We've talked about positive and negative space. And just to review, if you were looking at this one on the side and you were focusing on the white circle, then that would be your positive space. And if you were looking at this one and you were focusing on the black circle, that would be your positive space. So, but this really is a black shape on a white background. This really is a white shape on a black background. So I'm gonna put those aside. I'm gonna show you our supplies for today. We have white paper and black paper and glue sticks and scissors. That's it, really simple. So first you start with the scissors and your black paper, and you're going to look here at this midline, that line where the black flips over to the white. And I'm gonna start with my design there. You're gonna cut out from each side of the paper, each side of the black square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 sides. All right, so I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start cutting. My shape is gonna be cut out only from this one side of the paper. So check it out. It looks, you can tell that you still have the paper on the top, the bottom. There's just one shape, it's cut out nice and clean, and that's what you wanna do. I'm gonna fit this like a puzzle piece, and then I can see what that starts to look like. So I'm gonna cut out 3 shapes in total. This is 1, I'm gonna do 2 more. So let's do another one. Okay. I'm gonna make sure my scissors really get that spot where they cut that shape out nice and clean. Okay, so now I have 2, and I'm gonna do 1 more, and then I'll check out how it looks. I don't wanna go any smaller than that piece. Oh, so I couldn't pull that out, so I'm gonna go back in with my scissors. I'd rather have my scissors cross that cut a little bit rather than to pull it out. So I'm gonna put that in and flip it over. And so I'll put that 3rd one in and flip it over. This is kind of a tricky one. You really have to make sure, because it's hard to tell with triangles. Nope, that's wrong. I'm gonna put that there, I'm gonna flip it over. So you have those 3 shapes. So you're really starting to play with it. If you look at the black on this side as the shape, that would be the positive space. But if you look at the white on this side as the shape, that would be the positive space there. So you really start, that image starts really bouncing back and forth. All right, I'm gonna do 1 more side and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, now one thing you're gonna notice is that I'm not cutting the paper across at all, too. So what I mean by that is I mean that I'm not cutting across to the top at all. I didn't cut across here to the other side, and that's really important for this project. All right, so I'm gonna do that, bring it over here. I can kind of look, measure the distance with my eyes. 1, and do 2 more shapes so that I have 3. For your project, I'd like you to do at least 2 of these shapes to have 3 shapes cut out. So if you're looking at this project that I've just done, I'm just reaching that goal right now. That goal is to have 3 shapes cut out. So I'm good with that goal, and you can move on and continue with that, or you can think about it in another direction. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push this out of view, and I'm gonna put one in that I've cut from all the sides so you can see how to glue. All right, so here I just slid into view a puzzle piece. It's all together. And one of the reasons why I like doing this is that it helps with gluing. So when I go to put my design together, I happen to have a really big X for my biggest shape. I'm gonna start with my biggest shape. I'm gonna put glue on it. You're gonna notice that I'm doing it a little bit faster. You take your time and do a good job with it, but I just am doing that for time's sake. I'm gonna flip this over like a pancake, and then I'm gonna line it up in the corners. If you're white peaking and you're not 100% happy, like see this white right here? Let me see if I can move it. And if it just happens to be how the paper was cut, we can cut it later. So don't worry about that. We can use the paper cutter to fix that. Now this shape can stay and this shape can stay. I only have to move this one shape here. So let's put glue on that. Okay, now this is what happens. A lot of times people want to slide the shape over. So this points here and this points there also, but you do have to flip it like a pancake and just put it on the line there. I'm trying to reline up this beautiful midline to make the shape really, the design nice and crisp. Okay. So you then would glue down these other two shapes also. So now looking down here, we have this cool like mountain TP shape, and I'm gonna, again, just pull out the middle shape, and I'm gonna put some glue on it. And I'm sure some of you are noticing that I haven't flipped it yet. I'm gonna put my finger in the glue and it lifted it up, then I'll flip it over. I'm just kind of measuring with my eyes, eyeballing it right there to match it up. And then I would go glue down these other two shapes. So work your way around your design until it gets fully glued down. Here's another shape. Again, I only have to move this middle shape and glue that shape down. Really cool. When I was doing my shapes, I was just thinking about lines. So if I did some curvy angles, I also added some sharp pointy angles. So that literally was all I was thinking about when I was doing my design. Now for the blooper reel, here are a few things that can happen to you. Somebody must be at the door because my dog's really excited. One thing that can happen is you can cut your piece of paper in half, and that's kind of lousy because then you're just going to have to glue it down. So don't do that. Another thing that can happen is if you are somebody who's really detail oriented, you can get frustrated with this project because, you know, if you're feeling really ambitious, like I want to do a really detailed image of this, the first thing is when you try to start to fit it back like a puzzle, you can have like somebody could have sneezed or just been talking to you and a shape is on the ground. I've seen that happen many times. And this is with students who are really high achievers that this can happen to. You start just getting frustrated with that, not knowing which shape goes where. I'm already at that point, so I'm not gonna move on from that. So don't do these thin, nondescript shapes. We're gonna do more than one, you're gonna do two, especially for your first one, you wanna make sure you don't do that. So I also was over here, and with one of these really particular ones, I hadn't quite cut it all the way. So I don't know if you can see this, but if you look, that's really like a deckled edge. It's a torn edge right there. So you really want to make sure that you have nice, smooth cutting to your pieces. And then this, so, you know, cutting it too small, it's not really a shape. It can't be glued. And if you're a high achiever and you love really good craftsmanship, and so you're trying to do something really detailed, well, that can backfire a little bit here. So just a heads up, when you do this, it can backfire. Because when you go to glue, when you go to flip, and you're gonna want that to look so nice and sharp, it's gonna be a challenge, and it ends up often being a very gluey situation. All right, so don't forget, three cutout shapes in two different places, and just really enjoy it. I can't wait to see all the different responses you're gonna have from this project. Okay.